I agree. I love streaking. I love being naked. I love seeing non-sexual nudity in stuff that I watch.
I need to see this through, whatever it is.
You mean like with you and the groom?
I mean, we can just call him Sean.
So happy to talk to you.
Hi, Diana. So happy to talk to you. Thanks for taking the time.
You wrote this movie with Dave. What is your creative process? How do you pitch ideas to each other and then choose what to do and what to say?
Well, because we live together in the same household, I think it usually starts by just any moment, right? You're brushing your teeth and we kind of go, what if it was something like, right? The seeds of the idea can kind of start percolating at any time. And then once we hone in on the idea, it's basically like Dave's at the computer sitting and writing. I start out sitting face to face also at the computer and 10 minutes later I'm bouncing off the walls. I have to kind of be up, walking around. I'm workshopping dialogue. I'm making us lunch and dinner. Dave's typing, forcing me to type, forcing me to, write. Basically, Dave just like pulls it all out of me. It's a great dynamic.
It's very easy with Allison. We've worked together a handful of times now, but this was the first time where we built something from the ground up, where we wrote it together. She stars in it, I directed it, and it was great. It's so easy because we have similar sensibilities. We have the same sense of humor. There's very rarely any arguments, and on top of that, I just think she is so talented, and she, as an actress, she makes my job very, very easy. And so, it just feels seamless.
A moment that I love in the movie that's really bold and really liberating, and it's in the poster too, where you are naked and you are running. And I love that because I think it's a therapy that everybody should do at least once in a lifetime, right? To just be yourself.
I agree. I love streaking. I love being naked. I love seeing non-sexual nudity in stuff that I watch. Working on Glow, I think really connected me back to that place of embracing my body and just feeling comfortable with that. And it really connects back to our storyline, and my character and how she's really on this journey of reconnecting to herself. So there was great symmetry there.
Did you have to do that scene many times or just one?
The streaking scene, we did it a few times. We didn't have to do it too many times. Although Dave reminded me the other day, I kind of forgot. We shot Kiersey and I streaking, and we shot it kind of at a couple different sizes, And then they flipped the cameras around to shoot the guys' reactions, and we were not in the shot at all, but we still decided to do it naked because we wanted the guys to have authentic, real reactions, Dave was like, yeah, we told you could wear your robe because you were off camera, but you still insisted on doing it naked. And I was like, oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, I mean, Allison is very comfortable being naked. She while she was in college, she went to a very progressive art school where the rule was clothing is optional everywhere but the cafeteria, and so she would streak across campus to make her friends laugh, and so she feels it's very natural for her. But yeah, while we were shooting it, she in between setups, we did a whole photo shoot with her running naked because we were thinking this would be a great poster for the movie. And so we had our photographer basically just taking hundreds of photos of Allison running naked in a circle at a golf course, and she was just having the time of her life. She felt free, and it's, taps into the themes of the movie.
I'm a huge fan of Community. I have here season 1 and season 2.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. And I love seeing Danny Pudi there. I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite thing about him?
Oh my God. My favorite thing about Danny as a person, he's the sweetest, kindest person you will ever meet. Danny is like the ultimate even-keeled, positive person. Even back in the days on Community, when we would shoot all-nighters, we would be at hour 16 on set. Danny still has a positive attitude, has great energy. I love it. I love Danny. I feel like he brings out the best in me. We always have so much fun together. And this movie, you know, was just tapping into that.
When I saw Danny Pudi on the movie, I was like, yes,
Yes.
thank you for bringing them together.
And when you watch them on screen, you can feel that they're best friends in real life, and you can't help but smile and laugh through all of their scenes together. And so we actually wrote that role for Danny, and we were very lucky that he said yes. And it's just, again, as a director, watching them do their thing, there was a lot of times when we were like setting up for the next shot, and they would just be goofing around, and then we would be ready for the shot, and they didn't even know, and I'd just be like, action, get this, like get these like candid moments between them, and some of those ended up in the movie.
I have a dog, and every time I have a conversation with whatever person, I'm like, ask me about my dog. I love to talk about my dog. And now I know you have cats. So I want to ask you about your cats.
Let's talk about the cats.
Like, what is your dynamic when you're writing and you're doing this that you already told me, and your cats are there?
Well, you know what's interesting, not to put this on a downer note, but we had our like previous cat, Harry, who has since passed away, was alive when we started writing this movie. It was like the last days of Harry, and we wrote him into the script. And you know, it was during lockdown. It was during quarantine lockdown. So we were really like spending a lot of time at home with Harry at the time. And even though he was an indoor cat, we were letting him come outside, like onto the patio with us. We have videos of me just like swinging Harry in the breeze while Dave's at the computer writing. So it's very special to have like commemorated our cat Harry in this movie and made him a character. And now we have 2 new cats that we got during the pandemic, Otis and Max. And they're always nearby. Our cats, people have a lot of misconceptions about cats, I think. And everybody thinks of cats as being so aloof and all this stuff. But like our cats, they like to be in the room with us. They like to be wherever we are in the house. They're like dogs in that way. So like at any given moment, we got Dave at the computer, we got me pacing or sitting on the floor, petting Otis. He's in my lap. We got Max like in the chair nearby, just kind of like head over the edge of the seat, just listening, not reacting. It's great. And we brought them up for the shoot. I actually drove our cats up. I did a 2-day road trip by myself with our cats up to Portland, Oregon from LA. So we had the whole family there. It was great.
Great parents. I love it. The character of Ali in Somebody I Used to Know is a workaholic. And when I saw that, I related to that because a successful work life can also lead to a very lonely life sometimes. And I think it's very, very scary to face that, but it's very important to know ourselves. And I want to ask you about you working in the industry and how you relate sometimes to loneliness in life.
I mean, you know, when I was first starting as an actor, one of the best parts of the job was traveling to these different cities and meeting a bunch of new people and all of that. And that's still really fun, but, you know, now that I have been married for a while and we have our 2 cats and I just love being home, when I'm thinking about what job I want to do next, I have to think about like, okay, this is going to take me away from my little family for many, many months. And is that worth it? It has to be something that I'm really, really passionate about. And so I feel like we found like a pretty good work-life balance. And part of that too is realizing like, oh, if we keep working together, then we're never apart. And this is amazing. We get to do good work, but we're also together. And so we just hope to keep doing that forever.
Yeah, sometimes, definitely. I think that's a big part of the reason why Dave and I love to work together, honestly, so that we can just be together. We've gone through periods of time where we've had to spend months apart because we're shooting in different cities, and it's really hard. It's like, I feel like often, and I'm sure this is true about other industries as well, at the moments of your like highest successes, right? That can be really lonely because you're like you're like getting to that pinnacle because you're head down, working. And it's easy to sort of neglect the other relationships in your life. I feel like, especially over the last few years, I've really like taken stock of that for myself and tried to just try to balance my time more and connect more to my friends and my family and like really make an effort to stay in touch with them, even if I'm filming in another country for a few months, you know?
I love the title of the movie, referring to ourselves and how we change through the years. I wanted to ask you, what can you say about what you've learned to love yourself through the years?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a big theme in the movie about just kind of like reconnecting with like the best version of yourself. And I think for me, the way I relate to that is I think about, you know, specifically the work that I've done over the years where I think there was a moment in my career where I was taking jobs because I thought it was the right next step, you know, as opposed to taking jobs because it was something that I felt really passionate about or because I thought I would have a good time. And that's what I do now. And so it's like trying to get to this place of like, oh, I gotta honor like how I'm feeling inside as opposed to like going after what I think is the right thing. It's like, no. I just gotta go after things that make me happy and yeah.
Well, I think that is the journey of a lifetime, you know. In my experience, our relationship to ourselves, you know, that's the longest relationship that you're going to have in your life. And it's going to be a journey. And you're going to have waves of feeling super connected to yourself. You're going to have times of feeling disconnected. And I don't know. I don't know what I've learned, honestly. I feel like anytime I think I have it all figured out, I'm immediately hit with some unexpected wave of emotion, depression, anxiety. Those things can come up. And it's mostly about, I think, not adding to any of that, right? Like, don't beat yourself up for having emotions, for going through periods of distress. And don't beat yourself up for having moments of joy and happiness and celebrating successes, right? Like, I'm a real believer in celebrating the moments, like really trying to enjoy things in the moment because happiness can be fleeting. You don't want to miss it.
I love how comfortable you look when you're telling me all these things that you've done in life and what you have done that you don't like and what you've wanted to do for your life in the future. And I want to ask you about that. You're an actor, you're a director, you're a producer, you're a writer. Where are you in life right now?
It's a good existential question. I feel I can say I'm happy in the moment. You know, I'm able to create these projects with my wife, and that's kind of what else could I ask for? I mean, yeah, I just truly it's kind of the pinnacle for me. Like if me and my wife can keep kind of creating stuff together and traveling places together, that's like the number one for me. I couldn't think of anything better.
Alison, I love your intensity. I love how you are. Thank you for sharing your creativity with the world and your love for your husband also. I appreciate it a lot, and congratulations on this movie.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all of your kind words. That's so lovely.
Of course, I watched The Rental. It made me think of all these things that can happen when you go to an Airbnb, of course.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you about your experience working with a horror movie and now a romantic comedy. What can you tell me about what you've learned from these opposite sides?
Yeah, I mean, they are wildly different genres, but they just happen to be two genres that I really, really love. And so I think my approach to both of them was similar, where I was really trying to kind of tap into the energy of some of the classics from each genre, but then try to modernize them and make them feel current to, you know, today, the present, with characters that feel unique to this time. And then also just kind of using what I know and love about each genre to kind of lead the audience down a certain path where they might think they know where this is going, but then kind of subverting the genre whenever possible and keeping them surprised every step of the way.
Talking about these genres, and I also saw you on After Party, And I love seeing you there because it's another personality.
Yeah.
How do you feel with comedy? Because we know comedy, it can be like a very sharp thing, a very intelligent thing, intuitive also, but it's also difficult to manage that because there's a thin line with comedy.
Yeah, I mean, I think over the years, like I've been really lucky to be surrounded by some of the funniest actors ever. And I remember when I was first starting out, I was intimidated because when you're in a scene with someone like Seth Rogen or Jonah Hill, you think like, okay, how am I going to keep up with this person? And for me, I quickly realized like, oh, no one's expecting me to keep up with them. Like what I need to do in this situation is just be in the moment and listen to what they're doing and react honestly. And so I found over the years, like the comedy that works best for me is you put me in like a bizarre scenario and I'll play it as straight and as real as possible and almost let the comedy come from that as opposed to being the person who's throwing out like a million jokes. And so I kind of brought that whole mindset into this movie where this movie is not there's not a bunch of like jokes or one-liners. It's more like coming from the characters and the situations.
Thank you so much. You are so amazing. And I want to see more of your projects together. Thank you for being this amazing guy.
That's so nice. Thank you. Thank you.